أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings of the Almighty Creator be upon you and all your families. Ameen. Welcome to another episode of the Sensual Womb Whispers, and I'm your host, Rizana Shahjahan. And this is episode 2 of our ongoing series, Lock Up Your Kitty. So if you haven't listened to episode 1, please go ahead, pause this, listen to episode 1. It will make sense what this title is about, what this series is about, and what inspired me to start this series. So before we enter the episode, let me start on my prayer. Bismillah. I pray that this episode is a beneficial episode for you. I pray that every sacred female who's listening now is benefited with the knowledge that the Almighty Creator has provided me. And through me, I provide all of you. And I pray that you understand and you know your true power and your true elegance, unlike what the world would like us to know. So, welcome to episode 2. And episode 2 is all about portals. So, your kitty, your portal. So, in the past decade or so, I have witnessed a surge of knowledge, a surge of understanding, a surge of awareness when it comes to a lot of metaphysical and spiritual things, spiritual aspects and elements. And one of them being portals. So if you Google or you search anything online now, you find so much information on the portals being like a black hole being a portal, a black hole being a collapse of a star. That's what it is. Different things being portals. And if you do furthermore research, you will understand that compared to 150 years ago, an acceptance of spiritual knowledge is prevalent. However, still the acceptance of a sacred female's power is still disputed, confused, diluted, and in many times confused. So this is not going to be I'm not going to teach you all about the different kinds of portals out there. There are many, many portals. And I will maybe in another episode. But today I want to talk to you all about your personal portal. Your personal portal, which is you. Which is basically you. You as a sacred female are a walking, talking, breathing, supernatural, metaphysical portal. Did you know that? When we speak about feminine energy, when we speak about the energy of the female, when we speak about female intuition, all of this is spoken in terms of this amazing portal that you are. So why has God created us with this sacred space, which is literally a portal? Which is literally a portal. It is a metaphysical portal. So in the realm of spirituality, if you take the sacred masculines, they are able to access external portals. I mean, they have an internal portal as well, which through their heart they are able to access, which we also access. Our heart is also a portal that we access. But for us, our heart and our sacred space combined together creates a pyramid, literal pyramid. So it's like there's when we access a heart and we access a sacred space, a boat comes out, let's just say it comes out and it forms a cone. And that forms a triangle or and it forms a pyramid outside of us. And that is our portal. So as I was saying, that's a sacred masculines. The sacred masculines are able to access their portals, which is their heart portal, by engaging in a lot of spiritual work, in engaging in a lot of fasting, a lot of meditation, a lot of contemplation, isolation, and all of that. They're able to access their heart portal and magnetize the kind of life, abundance, wealth, whatever they require, they're able to magnetize it. But to do that, they have to go through so much of physical work. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so merciful that He knows that as sacred females, we operate on a sacred moon cycle. And the sacred moon cycle is divided into 4 portions. Each portion of the sacred moon cycle is a portal itself. I will explain that in another episode, but let me just explain this in an overview understanding. So we have a sacred moon cycle, and we have to operate based on a sacred moon cycle. Our nutrition, our exercise, the way we think, our thought processes, the strength of our magnetism, the different frequency that we emit all varies based on different months, different stages of the moon cycle. So we can't, unless it's a compulsory fast, we're not advised to fast a week before our periods because that will affect our hormone level, our bleeding, and stuff like that. So if you're gonna be like a sacred masculine and you want to access the spiritual world, and they tell you as sacred masculine, they say, oh, you have to abstain from this, you have to abstain from that, you have to fast a lot, you have to be in isolation. That doesn't work well with us. That doesn't work well with our hormones because we're not created that way. And above all, you have to pray throughout the night. You have to do as much as you possibly can. Stay up the night and do so much prayer, so much Quran. We can't do that. We actually get exhausted because we're not made the same way. So then how can we attain that kind of spiritual enlightenment? How can we be able to access different kinds of realms through different portals if we don't do that? We do through our own sacred space. Because we need sleep. If we as sacred females don't have adequate sleep, that messes up with our endocrine system, that messes up with our thyroid, that messes up with our hormones. And then that messes up our most powerful cycle, which is the sacred moon cycle. So we cannot operate like them, like sacred masculines. So this is in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy that we are such a completely different creature. So because we're a different creature, and Allah is fair, we need to access spiritual realms. We need to access different dimensions. And how are we going to access it if we cannot go through this arduous physical, um, I would say torture, physical hardships? No, we access it through a sacred space. See, your kitty is your portal. Simply said, your kitty is your portal. But how are you using that? And I do not mean by physical. Just get that through your head. You can use your kitty in physical ways if you're married, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it halal for you to access your kitty portal through halal intimacy. That's a different thing. Like, are you level of access? That is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has encouraged us to get married. Not just for the mere act of intimacy or sex, but to attain a spiritual level that you would not be able to do alone. Again, another day, another episode. Now, if you take the energy centers, okay, the energy centers in our body, the system that has been, the system of energy centers or the chakras have been created based on masculines or males. That is why the lower part of your body, it's always called the lowest, your lowest state, your dirty state. I mean, if you're going to think from your lowest state, that makes you less powerful. But that's true for a masculine, to a sacred masculine, that's true. If they operate from their lower part of their body, that makes them weak because they're losing it, like their elixir, their life elixir, which we all have in the root of our spine. But a masculine is actually losing a lot of it when they're operating from their lower part of their body. But for a sacred, that is why for sacred masculines, they're supposed to operate from the top part of their body. That's their crown chakra. From their crown, they have to think, they have to be intellectual, they have to process things, they have to understand. For a sacred female, it's the opposite. We have to pull down. We literally have to bring our awareness, you have to bring our consciousness, we need to bring our focus, we need to bring our what do I say? We need to bring our thinking, we pull it down into a sacred space. That is where power is for a sacred female. So if you're following normal energetic systems and if you're following normal energetic procedures and processes, you will understand, you will find out quickly that you're not happy, that you're depleted, that it doesn't seem to be working for you, but maybe working for somebody else. But it doesn't work for a sacred female because a sacred female, we operate from a sacred space. So when I say your kitty, your portal, I mean literal and spiritual. But we do so many things that is not, how do I put it? That is not puts at the kitty. For example, using tampons is absolutely no. You're married or not married, it's a no. You don't shove anything up there. Using a vibrators, again, no, because that affects the vibration of the kitty and makes it less powerful. And I'm being very candid with you. These are things that women do use, and they use it for their pleasure purposes. But again, if they're using it or if they're self-pleasing themselves without with these gadgets and stuff, just like a sacred man who is forever being depleted, their elixir of life that is stored in their sacred, in their sacred spine, will be depleted. So understand that your kitty is a portal, and she is what you have to use to access different dimensions. So keeping your clean, washing up, making sure you're not wearing tight clothes. That's an important thing that I need you all to understand. Your kitty being your portal, you guys just wear these tight jeans and tight tights, and it's constricting blood flow, it's constricting blood flow to your hips, your waist. It's not how it works. So you are actually blocking energy from flowing into your kitty and into your sacred space, because the energy flows from the kitty to your sacred space and the sacred space to the kitty. So it's a give and take. It's a flow. And another thing that I've noticed with women is that they wear such tight clothes, such revealing tight clothing that you literally can see your wee, like literally. And I'm not being joking, it's not figurative. Literally, I can see the shape of your wee. And the wee is a triangle, and the wee is a pyramid, and it is a portal. So anytime and every time somebody else sees your portal, sees your wee, you're being depleted. And when I see women either in Arabic classes or they're walking around, it's what they tell me. Oh, it's a freedom, my body, my choice. I do what I want, honey. Your body, your choice, but you are depleting life force energy. You're depleting your magnetism, and you think you're doing it because you're free. You will be enslaved because you don't have power to access magnetism. So, what else? How else do we take care of our sacred space? Our language, our voice matters. Our thought process matters. What we think matters. What we consume matters. Because you like it or don't like it, everything gets pulled into your sacred space. Everything you see, everything you hear, everything you speak, everything you think, all the things like which is above your neck, literally above your neck, goes down to your sacred space. Everything you feel, any part of your body, that any sensation you feel, it gets coded into your sacred space. And your sacred space communicates with your kitty, because your kitty is part of your sacred space. So you be mindful of what you're consuming. What food are you eating? Or what kind of processed food are you eating? What kind of perfume are you wearing? Because all these perfumes, all these nail polishes, all these cosmetics, they all have chemicals. All these body washes, all these body lotions, all of them have chemicals which seep into your skin, into your cells, and they get pulled in the sacred space as codes. As codes which block the power of your portal. So you might think, I'm just walking around here, right? I'm just having a good time. I'm just living my life. Be careful. Because to be fair, this world is not meant to allow sacred females to thrive. It's not a conspiracy theory. I'm being very serious. Sometimes even other sacred females don't want their counterparts, other sacred female counterparts to thrive, because that means they're in competition with them with regards to whatever they have in mind, their resources, their partners, and stuff like that. So be very careful. So you really need to take care of the way you operate, or else you're going to deplete your portal, and there are consequences for that. So now you may wonder, okay, Riz, what are you talking about? What is this portal, and why should I take care of my kitty? And why is it so important that I cover up and I don't eat this, I don't eat that, I make sure there are no chemicals? The answer is extremely simple. Your sacred space is, how do I say, it's the biggest power station in all the galaxies. Okay? And your kitty is the entrance to that, which is the entrance of the portal. So, the entrance of the portal is not a mere doorway. No, the entrance of the portal is extremely powerful as well. And in the case of the sacred female, the entrance of the sacred space being your kitty is a portal herself. So why is it important? Let's come to that. Let's do some calculation. Let's say the frequency of wealth that you as a sacred female is trying to magnetize is, let's say the frequency of the wealth uh, is 1000. Okay, I'm just giving you a number, and you need to generate an equal or above that number frequency in your energetic field for a consistent period of time for that kind of wealth to recognize you and flow into your energy field. So far, so good. But for you to generate 1,000, 1,500 or 1,800 levels of frequency of energy, which can be, we can use any metric, any measurement you want. You need to generate that from your body. And if your body on a physical level is weak, if it's less than 10, how are you able to raise that? How your physical body needs to have a high frequency that you'll be able to build upon consistently through taking care of yourself, by the things you think, by changing your thoughts, by changing your environment, by literally cleaning your insides out. So you start raising your frequency. So if you say your normal body frequency is 110 and the wealth that you want is 1,000, you need to start building further and further and further upwards to reach that frequency. Now, I'm talking about building upwards in the sense there are so many things that you can do and you must do to elevate your frequency. But without you elevating your frequency, by you using these chemicals on your body, using these chemicals on your hair, on your eyes, on your mouth, by using all of these so-called chemicals, they get absorbed into your physical body, and your physical body, the frequency of your physical body depletes. It sometimes even can come less than 10. And how are you able to bring in another, let's just say another object, which is a frequency of 1,000, how are you able to have the energy to hold that? It could get crushed, right? Let me give an example which will make sense. Let's say we have a brick which is 10 kilos, and there is a boulder which is 1,000 kilos. Now, if this boulder comes on top of this 10 kilo brick, the brick will smash into pieces. So because the boulder will smash the brick into pieces, the boulder will not come close to the brick. So if you're less than 10 and the wealth you want is 1,000, if you will actually destroy yourself in trying to bring that wealth into your life. Does that make sense? And this is just a small example with regards to wealth. It is the same thing with regards to everything. Everything is in codes. Every code is in pattern. That's what makes the portal so powerful. When you understand the codes, when you understand the patterns, you're able to easily magnetize what you want. But if you're constantly fighting against your own self, if you're constantly doubtful, if you're constantly overthinking, you're depleting your frequency. And if you're depleting your frequency, but remember, what you want the frequency of that is not going to be depleted. It's constant. But because you're not taking care of your portal properly, your portal, which actually generates power into the most powerful generator, power generator in the all of the universe, you are not able to generate the frequency to be so high to bring in what you ask for. And if you try to bring in what you ask for by doing all kinds of other things, you'll end up depleted, you'll end up emotionally exhausted, you'll end up physically exhausted, you will feel defeated and broken. This is why your kitty is your portal and you need to take this series. And then let's talk about the different dimensions. This might be a bit heavy for some of you, but bear with me. So when we look into different dimensions, there's so many dimensions. This earthly dimension is just one of them. There's so many different dimensions, there's so many different levels. In the mainstream media, there's hardly much mentioned on it. If you Google it, you won't find as much as many of the ascended masters have taught us. So in each of these dimensions, when you reach this dimension, each place, you will be given a different kind of knowledge. You will ascend in knowledge. You will understand that this physical world is an illusion. It is an illusion. But because your frequency is so low due to so many of the factors that I mentioned, you cannot see beyond this illusion. And this is what the world wants to do with sacred females. They want us to be slaves. When you don't realize your power, when you don't realize that your kitty is your portal, and you don't realize that you are able to increase your frequency by doing multiple things. And I just told you basic things. There are levels of this. There are massive levels of this. But then most of the sacred females are just tied down to the lower level of wanting physical elements or physical wanting physical stuff and instant gratification. This is a low level where they will keep you locked up as slaves. And this is what the women who were burnt at the stake, who were called witches, were trying to teach other women. They were trying to teach other women about this frequency, vibration, the sacred space, everything about your kitty, how powerful it is. But they were called heretics and they were burnt at the stake because Christianity couldn't accept it. But in Islam, we are taught about portals. We are taught about mystical beings. We are taught about dimensions. Because in Islam, one of our most important belief is belief in the unseen. Belief in the unseen is one of the most important beliefs in Islam. So that itself shows you the level and the dimension that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. But we have no idea. And in our limited awareness, we think that this dunya is it. It's not. It is not. It is the most basic state of physical dunya. So this is why women of the past have been crucified, have been burnt alive, have been punished, have been tortured, because they were trying to explain this knowledge to other women. Why am I doing this? I want you all to understand that all of this concept that is being pushed to your face with regards to your feminine energy, with regards to your feminine charm, with regards to getting anything you want, with regard to be your dark feminine and scaring men and trolling eyes. Don't fall for that narrative. You are so powerful beyond this physical plane. But then, if you accept your power, if you come into your power, if you understand your power, and start using your power, it will threaten the fabric of lies. This is what this is what we are taught in Islam. This is what we're taught in Sufis and the mystical part of Islam. This concept of portals, this concept of time travel, the concept of bending reality, the concept of time not being linear. This is not Western concepts. These are all concepts that have been written thousands of years before colonization by Muslim scholars. But we're not taught that. But we're constantly being taught to worship the flesh, now worship the mighty money, and we're kept as slaves. And you're being kept as slaves because you've been taught to that your only value and worth is the way you look, is how your body is, and what your size is, and what size of your body parts, what size of your boobs, what size of your ass, what size of your thigh. That's based on that is your value. And this value is not created by another female, is it? It's created by another masculine who wants to keep you entrapped. But then you don't understand that, and you'll fall for all of this nonsense. And you'll fall for all of this nonsense. So when I keep saying the power of your kitty, and when I keep saying that your kitty is your portal, it is more than mere statement. I can't teach you all the teachings in one episode, but I'm trying my best to open your eyes to what it is. I'm trying to teach you. I'm trying to make you see things, like take you all step by step towards a level that you want. And I'm not gonna gatekeep anything. I'm gonna teach, but it's sometimes it's cumbersome. And inshallah, this is the plan that I will teach you one by one, and how to lock up your kitty to build your empire. And you can tell me, but Riz, I'm not interested in my empire. I'm not talking about a physical empire made of gold and silver. That's easy. That is so easy. But I'm talking about a spiritual empire where we leave a legacy for the next generation of women to learn to thrive, so that they don't need to go through the trials, the challenges, which we went through, which is unnecessary in most cases. So with that, I'm going to end this episode 2, Your Kitty, Your Portal. I would love to hear your feedback. You can DM me on my Instagram page. You can either message me on the Sensual Womb Whispers, the podcast on Instagram, or you can message me on my main page. the Sacred Space Mentor, B_sacred_space_mentor. And I would love to hear your feedback on this episode, because I need you all to open your eyes. And I need you all to see the power is within you. And for centuries, you've been depleted, you've been declined, and you've been light. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.